It's midnight and you're tuning in to Nightline with me, Nurin Razmyn. The top stories. Bank Negara to announce plan to solve rising medical insurance premium rates soon. And RCI on Batu Putih, not a vendetta against Tun M, says PM. Good morning. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has stressed that the Royal Commission of Inquiry RCI on Batu Putih, Middle Rocks and South Ledge is solely aimed at safeguarding the nation's sovereignty and was not intended to target any individual. Therefore, the claim that it is intended as revenge against Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, as alleged by the former Prime Minister and his allies, is entirely unfounded. Anwar stated on Friday that the narrative of vengeance should not be raised in the issue, especially by the opposition. This is because the task force to look into the matter was set up during former Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob's administration.
Dia tak ada kuasa pasukan khas itu dibuat sebelum saya pun. Itu masa Ismail Sabri, Perdana Menteri, menterinya Hamzah, menterinya Dakiyuddin, dia ada buat dan finding itu lebih teruk lagi. Dia tak usah.
When asked by the media if Dr. Mahathir should be subject to action as recommended in their RCI report, this was Anwar's response.
Saya tak cadang apa-apa. Itu serah pada Jabatan Peguam Negara. Baik.
The RCI report, which was released on the Parliament website last Thursday, recommended that a criminal investigation be initiated against Dr. Mahathir for withdrawing the application to annul the International Court of Justice's ruling that granted Singapore rights over Batu Putih. However, several opposition members of Parliament have criticised the report, claiming it is politically motivated. Meanwhile, the Cabinet has proposed to the Attorney General to consider declassifying the final report of the Special Task Force on Batu Putih. Unity Government spokesman Fahmi Fadzil said the declassification of the report would be comprehensive except for matters related to diplomacy, security and national defence.
Ini adalah dua dokumen yang berbeza yang telah dibentangkan dalam Parlimen adalah laporan RCI Batu Putih. Dan dalam laporan RCI itu ada juga merujuk kepada satu laporan pasukan petugas khas Batu Putih.
Fahmi added that the report revolves around the findings of the investigation by the Special Task Force, which was established on October 29, 2021. It was presented to the Cabinet on October 7th the following year. Fahmi also stated that during its meeting on Friday, the Cabinet was informed that the Special Task Force's report had recommended prosecution based on misfeasance by a certain public officer, which is similar to the RCI's recommendation. On another matter, the issue of rising medical insurance premium rates is expected to be resolved in the near future. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has confirmed that Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM) will make an important announcement regarding the issue soon. Fahmi said that the Prime Minister informed the Cabinet on Friday that a little more time is needed for the central bank to address the issue.
Kita harapkan pengumuman itu nanti akan memberi kelegaan kepada para pembeli insurans, kepada rakyat Malaysia amnya yang mengharapkan agar perkara ini dapat ditangani dengan baik dan adil.
On Tuesday, Anwar told the Dewan Rakyat that BNM and the Health Ministry will establish controls to ensure that medical insurance premiums will not rise too steeply to the extent of burdening the people. Second Finance Minister Datuk Seri Amir Hamzah Azizan on Thursday was also reported as saying that BNM will announce further details on interim measures to address the issue next week. Previously, it was reported that medical insurance premiums were set to rise by 40 to 70% next year. In response, BNM on November 29th directed insurance companies and takaful operators to review their pricing strategies for medical and health insurance to ensure they were more reasonable. Meanwhile, several PKR MPs and a senator have called on BNM to limit medical insurance premium hikes to less than 10%. In a joint statement, the lawmakers emphasize that a reasonable increase was crucial to ensure such services remain affordable for the M40 group. They also stress that medical insurance should not be perceived as an exclusive service for the wealthy elite. The group warned that those in the M40 group who cannot afford the increased premium would flood public hospitals, which would burden the government healthcare system. The statement was issued following BNM's briefing to government MPs last Tuesday. Now, police have arrested blogger Wan Azri Wanderis, or better known as Papa Gomo, to assist in investigations into alleged money laundering and fraud allegations. The 41-year-old was apprehended from officers from the Bukit Aman Anti-Money Laundering Criminal Investigation Team at his residence in Putrajaya at around 1:30 a.m. on Friday. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussain, when contacted, confirmed the arrest and said that Wan Azri is being investigated under the Penal Code for cheating. It was learned that the arrest was made to facilitate investigations into the fraudulent use of a company's name to collect funds. According to Wan Azri's lawyer, Rafiq Rashid Ali, the arrest was made following a report lodged over an issue linked to Invoke Solutions. Police have obtained a one-day remand order against Wan Azri to facilitate the probe. 3 contract workers were believed to have died from electrocution while installing solar panels at the Public Works Department building in Ranau, Sabah on Friday. The victims were identified as Gimbal and Saleh, aged 25 and 34 respectively, both foreigners, and a local man named Wong, aged 54. In a statement, the Sabah Fire and Rescue Department, JBPM, stated that 7 personnel were dispatched to the scene after a distress call was received at 10:46 a.m. Reports indicated that 4 workers were at the site when the incident occurred. However, one of them, identified as Dani in his 20s, survived unharmed. Due to the risk involved, firefighters had to recover the victims from a safe distance. However, all 3 were confirmed dead at the scene by medical personnel. The bodies were later taken to Ranau Hospital for post-mortem. Ranau Deputy Police Chief Deputy Superintendent Ediansha Endal said that the initial investigations revealed that the victims were electrocuted when the solar panels they were installing came into contact with a high-voltage cable. The case has been classified as sudden death. In Kelantan, a man high on the police wanted list for his involvement in various offences was killed in a shootout with the police in Pasir Putih on Friday. The incident occurred at 5:30 a.m. when the 31-year-old suspect was stopped by a police team that had been trailing his car from Melur in Kota Baru. State Police Chief Datuk Muhammad Yusof Mamat said the team from the Kelantan Contingent Police Headquarters Criminal Investigation Department intercepted and stopped the suspect's car in Jerampasu.
Setelah kita menahan kereta tersebut, satu lelaki telah keluar daripada bahagian pemandu dan terus melepaskan tembakan. Berpedas tembakan kepada pihak polis. Dan pihak JSJ kita telah balas tembakan.
The suspect, a local, was killed on the spot in the shootout. Checks on the suspect's car revealed a semi-automatic firearm, a fake pistol, and a parang. Preliminary investigation showed that the suspect, one of the most wanted criminals in the state, had 24 records for crimes and drug-related offences. His body was taken to the Tengku Anis Hospital in Pasir Putih for post-mortem. The Perlis Customs Department has foiled an attempt to traffic in cannabis worth 93,000 ringgit in an operation in Kuala Perlis near the Malaysia-Thailand border. Enforcement officers seized the drugs after it was found in 2 sacks hidden in some bushes during an inspection at the Batu Putih Coastal Embankment area at 12:15 a.m. on November 28th.
Dan di sini adalah kedudukannya
State Customs Department Director Ismail Hashim said on Friday that the team found 30 slabs of compressed cannabis in the sacks, weighing a total of 30 kilograms at the location.
Modus operandinya adalah bungkusan guni disyaki berisi dadah jenis cannabis diletakkan di kawasan tambak pesisir pantai melalui jalan laut menggunakan sampan, dan bungkusan tersebut dipercayai akan diambil oleh individu yang lain.
The waters of Perlis have been identified as a new route for drug smuggling syndicates, particularly for cannabis, coming from neighboring countries. It is believed that the drugs are being smuggled from a neighboring country for distribution in the northern regions and the Klang Valley. In Pulau Pinang, 4 men were jointly charged at the Georgetown Magistrates Court on Friday with abduction and wrongful confinement of an Indonesian woman earlier this month. All 4 pleaded not guilty when the charge was read out to them before Magistrate Siti Nurul Suhaila Baharin. The 4 accused are Narindran M. Arifin Raj, R. J. Ruban, and Muhammad Shafiq Segnar Abdullah, aged between 25 and 30, along with another person still at large, allegedly abducted the 41-year-old victim with the intent to wrongfully confine her in a condominium unit at Jalan Baru Prai. They allegedly committed the offence along Jalan Kelawai between 8 p.m. on December 5th and 11:45 a.m. on December 7th. The charge under the Penal Code carries a maximum sentence of 7 years in prison and a fine. The court set bail at 8,000 ringgit with 1 surety each and ordered all the accused to report to the nearest police station monthly until the case is resolved. The court also fixed January 21st next year for case mention. A former chief executive officer of the Malacca River and Coastal Development Cooperation (PPSPM) has been sentenced to 2 years in prison and fined 1.3 million ringgit for accepting bribes. The Ayakuro Sessions Court on Friday handed down the sentence to 42-year-old Muhammad Faris Muhammad Ali after ruling that the defense had failed to raise reasonable doubt at the end of their case. Faris was charged with 4 counts of receiving 260,000 ringgit in bribes related to the supply of Malacca River cruise boats from LEC Impressions in Sendirian Berhad 7 years ago. The cash was provided as an inducement to assist the company in securing a project to supply 10 boats to PPSPM. The accused, a manager in the Cooperation's Product Business Development Division at the time, committed the offences in front of a car wash in Taman Peringgit Jaya and at a house in Taman Puncak Bertam between January 4th and March 6, 2017. Judge Elizabeth Payawan, however, granted the defendant's application for a stay of execution pending an appeal, with bail increased from 50,000 to 60,000 ringgit. Malaysia's residential property market recorded over 7,000 transactions in the third quarter of 2024, the highest in the last 10 years, with a value of almost 29 billion ringgit. This is an increase of 2.9% in terms of numbers and 1.3% in transaction value compared to the same period in 2023. According to the Valuation and Property Services Department, the residential subsector continued to dominate market activity by contributing more than 60% of the number of the property transactions. Overall, the performance of the Malaysian property market in the third quarter continued to be strong, with 112,305 transactions worth 57.31 billion ringgit. This performance was supported by positive growth in the number of property transactions across all subsectors, encouraging growth in construction activities and a consistent decline in unsold completed residential units since the first quarter of 2024. Britain's economy shrank by 0.1% in October, underlying the scale of Labour's challenge to get the economy growing. The monthly change in gross domestic product, GDP, published on Friday by the Office for National Statistics undershot the 0.1% expansion forecast by economists. It followed a 0.1% contraction in the previous month. The unexpected falling in GDP was driven by declines in construction and production, while the dominant services sector stagnated. It was the first consecutive drop in monthly GDP since March and April 2020, when Britain enforced its first coronavirus lockdown.
Kiranya mereka ingin bersama-sama dengan satu kumpulan yang telah pun difatwakan sesat, teruskan, kita semua akan menghadap pencipta kita satu hari.
Mengupas strategi peristiwa jenayah sepanjang 2024 bersama Pengarah Jabatan Siasatan Jenayah Datuk Seri Muhammad Suhaili Muhammad Zain, antaranya isu JISPH, kes bunuh Nur Farah Kartini dan Zain Ryan. Eksklusif dalam podcast khas Buletin TV3 jam 10 pagi 14 dan 15 Disember menerusi YouTube dan Facebook Buletin TV3.
A bitter end for Zijia. Actions from the BWF World Tour Finals after this breather.
Selepas hampir 2 dekad, rancangan reality TV terhebat kembali dengan lebih segar dan penuh kejutan. Ribuan peserta hadir ke 7 lokasi uji bakat di seluruh Malaysia dengan membawa mimpi dan harapan untuk menjadi seorang penghibur terkenal sekaligus memenangi hadiah bernilai RM1 juta. Siapakah 100 peserta yang bertuah yang bakal mara ke peringkat seterusnya untuk bergelar juara Kalpis Soda 1 in a Million?
A woman's spirit is boundless. So grab your coffee cups and wear your sassiest smile. Because this season, we're louder than ever. We talk career, health, finance, relationships, and everything in between. Women's Talk is here to empower and inspire you. Join us on Women's Talk every Saturday, 5 p.m. only on TV3 and stream now on Thursday.
Apa yang istimewa daripada kami di minggu final Family 2? Rul, kita akan bagi satu dewan ni terbakar dengan kita punya persembahan tu, membara.
Untuk akhir ni dia special, kita akan tunjukkan apa lagi karakter, mungkin stunt, elemen-elemen surprise yang kita akan tunjukkan dekat korang semua.
Syiha akan buat persembahan yang Syiha sendiri belum pernah buat lagi di mana-mana pentas sebelum ini.
Kehangatan pentas akhir kini bermula. Saksikan Family 2 akhir, Ahad 9 malam hanya di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton. 3 identiti, 1 misi. Si ayah, seorang pelisik. Kondo no kyujitsu, si ibu, pembunuh upah. Dan si anak dengan kuasa telepati. Berpura-pura menjadi keluarga, tetapi ada rahsia yang disembunyikan. Saksikan Spy X Family setiap Ahad 11 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
We're back with sports badminton, the 2024 BWF World Tour Finals. Heartbreak for Malaysians as Lee Zijia's promising campaign at the season-ending tournament came to a cruel end following a twist of fate, which saw him retiring from his final Group A match due to an injury on Friday. The world number 8 shuttler had already secured a spot in the last 4 after impressive wins over Taiwan's Chu Tianchen and Denmark's Andres Antonsen in his earlier group matches. The independent player was on track for his 3rd consecutive win after winning the first game 22-20 and leading 13-5 in the second against China's Li Shifeng. However, Zijia fell awkwardly and injured his right ankle. The 26-year-old tried to continue playing after receiving treatment but was forced to withdraw while leading 15-11. Under the tournament's rules, all his previous group wins were nullified due to his withdrawal from the final group match. Zijia had been in devastating form until the injury, winning all his matches without dropping a game. Meanwhile, 3 other Malaysian representatives enjoyed better fortunes as they smashed their way into the last 4 of the prestigious tournament. In the last Group A match, national men's doubles pair Gosi Fei and Nur Izzuddin Muhammad Rumsani stormed into the semi-finals with a stunning 24-22, 21-12 victory over Taiwan's 2-time Olympic champions Li Yang, Wang Qilin. In the mixed doubles event, both national pairs of Cheng Tanji, To Yi-wei and Goh Soon-Puat, Chevon Jamie Lai advanced to the semis, marking a historic day for Malaysia. Tang Ji and Yi-wei defeated Japan's world number 21, Hidori Midorikawa, Natsu Saito, 21-17, 21-18 to finish as Group B winners. Meanwhile, married couple Soon Puat and Chevon subdued Indonesia's world number 13, Dejan Ferdinand Shah, Gloria Amuel Wijaja, 17-21, 21-15, 21-14 to advance into the last 4 as Group B runners-up. On to esports, the 2024 FIFA E World Cup. National pride Ahmad Muhaimin, or better known as Mbappe, created history by clinching the title after defeating Morocco's N10 TNS in the final of the eFootball mobile category on Thursday. He won the first match 3-0 and the second match 2-0, emerging as the world champion in this category, which saw him bringing home $20,000 or 88,000 ringgit in prize money. Mbappe's title run saw him recording 5 wins and 2 draws in the group stage. The 5 victories came against challengers from Turkey, Poland, Argentina, Morocco and Portugal, while the draw came in matches against Saudi Arabia and Thailand. Mbappe also became the only eFootball mobile player to advance to the quarter-finals without a single defeat. He continued his excellent run by defeating Japan in the last 8 and India in the semi-finals, before sealing the win with a stunning performance in the final. Moving to hockey, 2024 Women's Junior Asia Cup. The national team will take to the field with a must-win mission against Hong Kong in the 5th to 8th place classification match this Saturday, aiming to secure the final slot for the 2025 Women's Junior World Cup in Chile. This challenge follows their 4-0 defeat to China in their last Group A match on Thursday. The match, held at the Al Amarat Hockey Stadium in Muscat, Oman, saw China scoring 2 field goals through Hao Guoting in the 4th and 17th minutes, followed by Li Jiajing's strike in the 49th minute. Tan Jingzhuang sealed China's 4-0 victory over Malaysia in the 54th minute, securing their place as group winners. Meanwhile, the Young Tigresses finished 3rd in the group and will now face Hong Kong in the 5th to 8th place classification match to compete for the final Junior World Cup slot. The 11th edition of the Women's World Cup, set to take place in Chile in 2025, will see only 5 teams from Asia advancing to the global tournament. India hospital leaves 6 dead. The details when Nightline returns.
Apa yang istimewa daripada kami di minggu final kami 2? Rul, kita nak tahu, kita tunggu final nanti. Yang penting kita akan buat yang the best. Betul, insyaAllah. Kita akan bagi satu dewan ni terbakar dengan kita punya persembahan tu. Membara. Itu dia. Okay, insyaAllah. Doakan kami.
Berbekalkan kreativiti dalam persembahan, mampukah Tomok dan Syahrul bergelar juara? Saksikan Family 2 akhir Ahad 9 malam hanya di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton. Mempertaruhkan nyawa demi keadilan. Setiap langkah penyamaran penuh risiko.
Ini bukan tugas mudah tau. Orang kita pun masih tengah buat uncover. Yang penting misi ini mesti berjaya walau dalam keadaan apa sekalipun.
Unit Gerak Khas kini kembali dengan misi yang lebih mencabar.
Siapa yang jadi hantu polis? Siapa yang pecah rahsia ni?
Kita belum boleh buat apa-apa tanggapan ini.
Gerak Khas Undercover setiap Ahad 11.30 pagi di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton. Cinta mereka bertaut atas dasar minat yang sama. Saat hati saling terikat, mereka berpisah tanpa kata. Di tengah hiruk pikuk kota Tokyo, kini dia kembali
Sakuraku
dengan rahsia yang tersimpan.
ちょっと話そうよ。そんなに私と話したくない。
Silent setiap Sabtu dan Ahad 7 malam di Yoshi TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton. Lahir dengan kuasa luar biasa, identiti mereka dirahsiakan.
Aku boleh baca fikiran kau.
Aku tak minta kau jadi pandai macam ni.
Allah ni dah bagi kita kelebihan. Kita guna apa orang kena tinggi.
Dan mereka kini adalah satu-satunya harapan.
Kalau macam ni punya gaya, kita dah boleh buat kumpulan pencegah jenayah. Aku setuju. Tapi kita kena bergerak secara rahsia. Boleh? Boleh? Boleh.
Squad X, Jumaat dan Sabtu 9 malam di Lestari TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
On to the foreign front. French President Emmanuel Macron has named his ally, François Bayrou, as his fourth Prime Minister of 2024 on Friday, after Michel Barnier was out following a no-confidence vote by Parliament prompted by budget disputes last week. Bayrou is the leader of the centrist Modem Party and a political heavyweight from southwestern France who calls himself a man of the countryside. The priority for Bayrou will be passing a special law to roll over the 2024 budget, with a nastier battle over the 2025 legislation looming early next year. He is expected to put forward his list of ministers in the coming days, but will likely face the same existential difficulties as Barnier in steering legislation through a hung parliament comprising 3 warring blocs. South Korea's National Assembly on Friday has rescheduled its vote on the motion to impeach President Yoon Suk-yeol, moving it up by an hour to 4 p.m. local time on Saturday. This came after 190 lawmakers of all 6 opposition parties and independent lawmaker Rep Kim Jong-min tabled the impeachment motion to the National Assembly at around 2 p.m. Under South Korean law, a voting session may convene 24 hours after the motion is tabled and must wrap up within 72 hours. However, contrary to the earlier impeachment motion that failed to reach a quorum, the renewed motion no longer criticizes Yoon for taking the aggressive stance in the name of values-based diplomacy. If the impeachment motion gets 200 votes in favor of the 300-member National Assembly, Yoon will be immediately suspended from his role as head of state. At least 6 people have died and dozens injured on Friday after a fire broke out in a nursing home in Amman, Jordan. The blaze occurred on the first floor of the White Family Association's Elderly Care Center, which houses 111 residents. The fire also resulted in 5 residents badly hurt and 55 others sustaining moderate injuries. Authorities evacuated all remaining residents to alternative care facilities, and the injured were transported to government hospitals for treatment. An investigation is now being conducted to identify the cause of the blaze. Over in India, a fire at a private hospital has killed at least 6 people on Friday, with more than 24 others injured in the blaze. The fire broke out in the southern state of Tamil Nadu at the hospital in the city of Dingdulu. It started at the reception area on the ground floor before spreading rapidly to the other floors. According to authorities, all 6 victims were found unconscious inside a lift and declared dead at the hospital. At least 30 other people had been injured in the incident. An investigation has since been launched as authorities search for the cause of the deadly blaze. Gaza's government media office on Friday said a Zionist airstrike leveled a residential block in the Nusayrat refugee camp in Gaza, leaving a trail of devastation. At At least 33 Palestinians, including women and children, were killed late on Thursday, with 84 others injured or missing. The office condemned the strike as a horrific massacre, highlighting that the densely packed apartments were sheltering displaced civilians who had fled earlier bombings. Witnesses described the area as a chaotic scene of smoke, rubble, and desperate rescue efforts. Meanwhile, Gaza's collapsing healthcare system is already under immense strain and faces additional pressure daily. Hospitals and medical centers have been systematically targeted, with medics accusing Israel of pursuing a deliberate campaign of forced displacement in violation of international law. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look as Indian teen Gukesh Domaraju beats China's Ding Liren to become the youngest world chess champion. With that, I'm Nurin Razmyn. Thank you for watching and have a great weekend.